No, no, no. Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Gideon's Tactical. Today, we are checking out the Kershaw Shuffle. Brand new for 2013. This is just a little EDC blade that they say you should be able to throw in any toolbox, and every sort of guy or gal should be able to have on their person at any time. So we're just going to go ahead and give you some basic specs, jump on into this review, and see how this little guy performs around just the garage, just doing a little EDC task. We'll see how this shuffle performs. Give you some basic specs here. We got a blade length of 2.375 inches with a flat grind. The steel is 3CR13 MOV. Says it right here on the back spine. Let's see if I can get that in there for you. Right here it says 3CR13, stands for 3CR13 MOV. It is not 8CR13 MOV. Made in China. Let's see here. The handle length is 3.25 inches. Plain edge, bead blasted with glass reinforced nylon handles with the Kershaw K checkering. So those are all little Ks back and forth along the handle there, the glass reinforced nylon handle. You got a pocket clip, which is tip up only, left or right, which is awesome. Then you got a nice big lanyard hole, pry bar, flathead screwdriver, and a bottle opener. So they kind of are pitching it to you as a multi-tool, something that you can use, multiple different things for. It gives you more than just cutting ability. So you can see here, just as I hold it in my hand, I wear large size gloves, and it fills out my hand rather well, which I really like. My pinky's not want to come off the back. My index finger's nice, right up there in that kind of design choil. You got it. You're just locked in, ready to go. Got a flat grind. I always like that. I prefer either flat or full flat grinds when I'm purchasing a knife, so that's a plus. You kind of got this unsharpened swedge down here with just huge amount of belly. This whole knife just has nothing but belly, so it's going to be able to slice really, really well, and you have great stability and control over the knife when you're holding it in your hand, which is a really big plus. You can just really get in there. At just over 2 inches, you're not going to get a lot of cutting space, but for EDC tasks, opening, packaging, cutting carpet, maybe, if you're a installer of carpet, or you're cutting maybe rubber tubing, just rope, nylon, those type of things, this is a perfect size for that. So let's go ahead, let's get some EDC testing going in here. We'll cut some rope, cut some cardboard, see how this thing does. All right, so here we go with the Kershaw Shuffle. We're just going to do some light cutting here on some nylon rope, which is basically, a nylon strap, which is about the same weaving as a seatbelt. And we're going to see here how this thing cuts. You can see I'm not really putting any pressure on that, and boom, it's cutting right through there. Again, that amazing amount of belly is really going to help you out with your slicing capabilities. So if you are going through some webbing, nylon rope, that type of stuff, this shuffle, I'm not putting any effort on that. That's really nice that it comes with a really razor sharp edge. Awesome. Combined with that belly on that knife is going to be able to go through that stuff no problem and be able to just cut your nylon rope very, very easily. The Kershaw Shuffle can definitely do that. All right, here's the Kershaw Shuffle going through some cardboard. And I will say, as I'm using this, once I get it in there, it cuts really well. But because of how small that blade is, you really can't do a normal slicing motion because there's hardly any blade to keep on the cardboard. So you really have to kind of think about what you're doing as you're using the knife. It will slice that cardboard really well, you can see that. But you basically have to make sure you just keep on going straight, otherwise you're going to miss the cardboard pretty quickly. But it is definitely slicing right through that stuff. Kind of going against the grain there. There we go. There it is. So again, once you get it into that cardboard, it's going to be able to slice well. The only issue, again, is with that 3CR13 MOV, it's just not going to hold an edge like, say, better 8CR13 MOV. So as you can see, the Shuffle did a really good job. It's going to be able to do those EDC tasks really well. Let's go ahead and go on to the deployment here. What you get are nice thumb studs, really well designed. They're going to stick out. They're far from the handle. They protrude really nicely. You can sit there, flip it out, Really nice, left or right-handed. They're totally ambidextrous thumb studs. You can see there on either side, which is a big plus. Boom, whip it out there with authority. Really nice, really good deployment. This is just a really quick, fast deployment that we know from Kershaw. And then for the lockup, we have a liner lock that you can see there hits 50% of the blade. It is a little thin, but again, you have this really lightweight, small, tiny knife. You know, it's a little bit of a thin lockup, but it hits it perfectly, 50% of the blade. Then you can see there, just move it right out of the way, boom, close it one-handed, good to go. So not only is the deployment, but the lockup, great for EDC. Again, this is not a tactical knife. This isn't a hard use knife necessarily. It's just an EDC blade. Let's go ahead and look at just how it feels in your hand. Again, just feels really good and comfortable. And fills out your hand for such a tiny knife. I mean, this is so small, 5¼ inches, I believe, overall length. I mean, it fills your hand out really well, and you know, regardless of what size hand you're going to have. And then with that glass reinforced nylon with the KK all over the place. You know, this knife has just a good texturing for your average EDC. What I've noticed though with using this knife now for, been able to EDC it here for about a week and a half, you can see that the pocket clip, which is really well designed, that is one of the best designed pocket clips. And again, we're looking at about a $15 knife. That is a great pocket clip, and again, left or right, which is awesome, tip up. It will kind of thrash your pocket a little bit because of all that texturing with the K's on the handle. Will kind of destroy your pocket. So, you know, if you have Carhartts on or heavy duty jeans, you're not really going to worry about it. But if you are wearing more nicer jeans or Dockers, you know, that type of stuff, it will kind of destroy your pocket a little bit over time. And then finally, let's kind of look at the butt end here. You have this really huge lanyard hole, and then they kind of, you know, throw it to you as a pry bar and a flathead screwdriver. You know, you could do some of that stuff with it. Sure, it's really wide right there. You know, it'd have to be a really big flathead screw that you're trying to take out that you could use it for. And then you got your bottle opener. So after your hard day on the job, you can pop open your brew and enjoy your evening, is kind of how they're pitching it to you. So overall, after having used it for a little while, carried it for a little while, you know, for again around 15 bucks, what's there really to complain about? Really, my only complaint is with the steel that they decided to go with. You know, I've looked it up, the steel that they use, that 3CR13 MOV, and with some of the use that I've had with other knives on the market, it's basically like 440A, which I hate. I hate 440A steel. I don't enjoy using 440A, and that's basically what you're getting with the blade steel. It's not going to be the same quality as your 8CR13 MOV. This 3CR13 MOV is just a lower quality steel. You know, it'll hold its edge for an okay amount of time, but you're going to have to resharpen this a lot more often. I'd say probably twice as often as you are with your 8CR13 MOV knives, and that's just kind of a little bit of a letdown. You know, Kershaw does a great job making some really inexpensive budget EDCs with that 8CR13 MOV. You know, we know the Kershaw Chill, the Kershaw Asset and Compound, all those are under $20, and those are made out of 8CR13 MOV. So I would have liked to see that with this knife. If they had come with that, I mean, it'd be a home run. So the steel's kind of subpar, but other than that, I mean, it is a very unique little knife that you can definitely do some hard use with, not really worry about beating on, and you know, really well designed overall with the ergonomics. That pocket clip is just awesome, you know, and it's nice to have those two little features of the pry bar and the bottle opener on a knife. So I hope this review has helped you guys out. Thanks for watching. Stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.